Hi guys, thanks for joining me and welcome to my channel. This is your reading for the Tarot Truth podcast. So you guys are not going to see the cards, nor am I going to really talk about cards or astrology transits or anything of that type. Actually, I'm just going to kind of keep to myself and tell you the messages as they're coming to me. So maybe you will be interested in hearing a little bit about that. And yeah, I'm excited to do this for you guys. And what else can I tell you? I'm excited to do it. I'm not going to tell you the cards. You're not going to see them. It's a bit of a podcast. And yeah, I feel as though there's real contemplation about things that are happening around you even before you actually know where life's going. So you're really in the beginning of stages of something, and you're really thinking about what the future will hold, even though you're just out of the gate with things. I feel like maybe for a time you had felt very empowered and very strong in where you've come from. Maybe you felt like you had it all figured out, or that you had a real firm grip on situations. In certain ways maybe you had, but circumstances have now changed, and it's a new playing field. It's a whole different environment. It's a whole different group of people that you're interacting with, a whole different circumstance. And so I feel like it's almost like the person who is from a small town that goes to the big city. So someone from a small town who has everything figured out about the small town ends up going to a big city. And when they do that, they're suddenly in a new environment, and they're no longer like the top dog as they may have been in wherever they're from. So yeah, it's a little bit of that. It's a little bit of changing circumstances, changing environments. There's a little bit of humility that comes through as well. I feel like this is a karmic situation. A lot of these readings end up being karmic because that's where my head goes typically when I read. So this could be a bit of a karmic situation, not necessarily karmic with anyone else, but just it was meant to happen, to be in this position where you are in some way far away from the things that you know, or life had taken you, or maybe boldly you went forward towards something, and now you are in some way coming to terms with the consequences of that. You've put yourself in a new environment. Now it's time for you to work for it. Here is the next message. I feel like something really quick has happened. The change of pace in your life had changed very quickly and in a very swift manner. I feel like you are going in a new direction very fast, and I feel like you are achieving the goals and the things that you want to achieve very quickly as well. I think that there's some energies that are helping you towards where you are going. So there's energies that are helping you to achieve the things that you want to achieve. You're being called upon to face certain things and kind of bring about the strongest energy from within yourself. I feel like maybe a very quick love is coming into your life as well, as a part of this whole nexus of circumstances that you're interacting with. So I feel like there is still information that you can draw upon from your previous experiences, but it's in the form of like wisdom, high vibrational intellect, and understanding rather than practical learning. So let me clarify. It's the larger principles that you have learned in your previous experiences that will actually inform where you are going, rather than specific skills or specific knowledge about, let's say, some kind of technical information. So it's like it's the understanding of how things work that is more fundamental to your well-being at this time than anything you had tangibly or practically learned in the past. Okay, so next message is now you're wondering why did I go? It was almost ambitious, that the reason that you went in the direction that you were going. And you may be questioning yourself, why did I go there? Like, why am I here? Why did I make those choices? But I think that there's a little bit of a reassurance that you went in the direction that you're going for a specific reason. The reason that you went, it was karmic. I just got the confirmation that this was a karmic circumstance that you had to follow through with. The next message, okay, so there's something to do with your mother that influenced this, and then I feel like the decisions were hard to make in order to go in the direction that you are going. They weren't necessarily like, oh, I'll just, go in this direction. And I think that it was a complicated set of circumstances that kind of pushed you in the direction that you went. So I feel like it was informed by the mother. Maybe your mother put pressure on you, or maybe you were doing it in response to something to do with your mother. But I feel like you made certain decisions to go a certain direction, and I feel like you are being called upon to face it now. It's almost like you bought into something that you didn't necessarily know you were buying into, and I feel like once you got there, you realized the predicament that you had created for yourself by making certain choices before you knew what you were getting into. It's like marrying the wrong person, that kind of thing. And I don't think you married someone wrong. Maybe for some of you it was like you made a set of circumstances and choices for yourself. You bought a house, you made some kind of decision that ended up in some way being different than that which you thought, in a complicated situation. And you may even be wondering if that was the situation that was right for you, if this was the situation, if you had made a mistake, and if this was all done in error. But I really strongly feel that this was a karmic thing that you had been doing all along, through different past lives, through different circumstances. So I think that continues. Okay, I'm looking a little bit deeper. Oh man. Okay. So I feel as though there is going to be some kind of very abrupt change to a situation, a very abrupt change of circumstances that will really I think that will really uproot where you are going and how you are handling things. I think that there is definitely a lot of energy to do with water and earth together in people. So people who have transits with water and earth together, I think that there's a lot going on for them at this time. I feel like there is something that is unexpected that is coming into the situation that is in some way yielding a very abrupt set of circumstances that you will have to deal with. It's something that's unexpected, and yet it was always supposed to happen this way. It was always supposed to be here. It seems like somebody's coming in out of left field and throwing in a lot of difficult energy into circumstances or into the predicaments that you're facing. And I think that it's disruptive. I think it's disruptive energy, and I think that this disruptive energy is in some way like really creating a chasm for the direction that this circumstance is going. However, there is an underpinning unconditional love in the situation. It just got really, really intense. So pressure is being applied to you or to the situation by a third party. So there's someone else who's involved. I don't feel like it's a love interest or anything like that. Somebody else is involved, and they're adding a lot of pressure into the situation. And I feel like they're being scooted away. They're being in some way pushed out of the circumstances. There is some kind of like pushing someone out of the equation, somebody who came in to disrupt, someone who came in to create, whatever kind of dissolution in a circumstance. I felt very quickly that there was a moment of unrest in which someone came in very quickly in for the attack, that kind of thing. But I think that there was already a pre-established awareness that came through and protected, most notably the mother energy. So whether it's your mother or whether it's some other mother or your surrogate mother or mothering energy, it came in and protected and stopped whatever was happening. It was this intuitive knowing of what was going on, but partly mixed in with the years of experience that a person had in order to address the situation, in order to really face it. And I feel like good things are happening, and I think that there's an opportunity that's opening up for you in order to travel somewhere, in order to go somewhere new, in a new direction, open up possibilities towards something new. I feel like there was something. Let's see, one more we have. Okay, so there was someone who was meddling in something that they shouldn't have been, and it caused a certain degree of setbacks, and it caused a certain degree of loss in a situation, such as the loss of a friendship, the loss of some small, it wasn't like a core friendship, it was the loss of some type of friendship, some type of energy was lost as a byproduct of somebody else's involvement, as a byproduct of somebody's poking around in not their business and trying to exert quite a bit of influence. And I think that person that was meddling was quite young in energy, quite unmature. And so I feel like they tried to control a circumstance by different kinds of means of manipulation, but I feel like their attempts were not successful, and in part this is the feminine energy that came in and stopped it. Either you spoke with someone, you tapped into like the vein of protective motherly energy, and that energy swept into your life and absolved the issue and removed the circumstance. Nobody may have done anything specifically in terms of like a life choice, but I do feel like by making that connection and reinforcing that connection, it like swept like a rainbow wave of energy through your life. And that was the wisdom of the feminine, the divine feminine, that in some way, kind of pulled the root out of a circumstance that was yielding a lot of abrupt instability. Here is the next message. Okay, so I feel like there has been, so that now we're getting into the deeper karmic part. I feel like on some level there was this separation from the feeling that you are a part of the universe and you are the part of everyone else, and you have the same kinds of rights and accessibility as everybody else does. And there was this kind of separation. Like, if someone asked you if everything was okay, you probably and very likely were going to say, yeah, everything's fine. But in a true sense, in a deeper sense, you were disconnected or dislodging yourself, or not actually fully tapping into the idea that in some way you are a part of everything as much as everybody else is. So you were in some way worn down from the feelings of entitlement to your rightful position in the world and in circumstances. And it may have been a byproduct of life events that in some way pushed you from feeling like you were a part of things with everybody else. And so this is really a coming back energy, coming back into feeling that you are in some way entitled, that you have a right to be here in the same way that everybody else does. I feel like there is a strong feminine energy all around you. It's like a protective bubble. It's trying to protect. It's not even trying to protect. It's like heavenly matters versus worldly matters, and they're coming into conflict. And it's like in Greece, for example, the gods would not come down and kind of walk amongst mortals, and if they did, it was like a transgression, and they weren't supposed to, kind of transgress. But when push came to shove, it was really that the gods would predominate, like if that's why they weren't supposed to do that. Don't mess around with the people, and let us do our thing. Let's have that separation. And so I feel like until push comes to shove, and then there is an intervention sometimes, and when the intervention happens, it's a very big thing. I feel like there is energy that is kind of pushing and shoving and overstepping its ambition with regard to your circumstances. I think that it got triggered by a person or a very immature situation or a very immature energy that prompted it to be confrontational yet again. But it was like the old cycle had been reborn, remeshed, and now that had been reconciled. I feel like really strongly what caused this was there was a separation, maybe even a year and a half ago, a separation of you feeling a part of things. Maybe so many things happened, maybe some things got under your skin, and you felt really, really on a soul level that you didn't belong, and that it, in those split second kind of circumstances, you were getting you were choosing, you were interacting with energy that was saying no go, you don't get to go any further, this is as far as you go, this is the end of the line for you, that kind of thing. And I feel like you and I feel like that was kind of the end of the situation. And you were becoming a victim to the people and the circumstances around you because you didn't feel entitled. You didn't feel like you could. You were somehow pushed out of the main strain of society, the main trajectory of how people were doing things. However, there's a deeper and higher wisdom that was informing your situations, and I feel like this higher wisdom in one way or another was really clarifying the things that you that you were contending with, and it was almost like it was trying to let you to figure it out for yourself. And at some point it had a safety net. So if things got too crazy, if things got too out of control, it was like, okay, let's draw the line here. Let's not take this any further. So there was this, let's not take this any further. Let's hold this back right now. And I think what ended up happening was there was this feminine energy that came through, and possibly through music, possibly through song, there was this kind of grounding energy. It was almost like pure divine feminine energy grounded itself in your life, and with music it pulled you down into the right space. It pulled you down into the space that you were supposed to interact with, and made life make sense. And it was maybe not even someone I have a feeling that it could have been something in passing, but it could have been your mother too. But it was very kind of like the divine feminine said, okay, that's enough, that just, but at the same time, it brought your awareness to the fact that you are entitled to certain things in life, certain baseline experiential things, that denying yourself is not the way forward. And it's all about how the deeper question that is being resolved here is like, how are you keeping yourself from doing certain things just because other people said so? So it's this group bullying, group harassing, some kind of like negative opinion setting, trying to dissuade, trying to keep you from acting in a way that you want to act, intimidation, those kinds of things. And I feel like you, through this experience, you were shocked into going a different direction. You were shocked into going in the right direction for you. And I think that it reverberated out like a ripple of water. It pushed out, and now there's so many different options ahead of you. It's really the spark of a new journey, right? I think that we're looking right into the as maybe not the singularity, because that's that's impossible, but it's almost like we're looking right into the middle of a situation that's unpacking itself, right into some kind of quick transition between one thing and another, and everything got crazy, everything got up in the air, the dust was kicked up in the air, and there was like this person who didn't have positive intentions towards you, but they had their behavior lended itself to a positive consequence without them truly wanting that, without them truly, wanting. I don't think that their intention was positive towards you at all. I think it was self-serving, and I think that it was actually self-serving, yeah? And I feel like, yeah, stand your ground. I feel like you need to stick up for yourself. You know where to draw those boundaries. You know where to say, okay, no more. I'm going to, back off now. But stand your ground until your reason tells you not to. And I feel like you are being guided towards really seeing things for what they are and celebrating your life, celebrating where you're at. Away from these people, and these people are manifestations or emanations of the low vibration you found yourself in. It was like, it's almost like walking down the street and walking lane by lane until you get to a very isolated place with no lights, no street lights, that kind of thing. So it's like you've walked like into an alley somehow, and you didn't intend to. It was just a byproduct of making some blind decisions, in life and stuff. And so you got yourself kind of in a pickle there. But I think that pickle, energetically, I think there was intervention. I think it was like that you reached that perimeter of where it's okay to go, and you couldn't even find your way out. And I feel like the circumstance, and then on top of that, someone came in to maybe kick you in the teeth, that kind of thing, or take advantage of the situation in some way, or try to take the advantage of the situation. And that's when there was a consequence. The consequence of that was that you got realigned, and you got realigned in the right facets, in the right situation, in the right circumstances. So I feel like a lot of this happened because there was so many, I think it's social conditioning, to be honest. There was like layers and layers of social conditioning in which you were told by people around you that that broke your heart. It conditioned you to, and it lowered your status, it lowered your self-perception. And as that lowered, it became more toxic and more difficult, and really kind of broke you down. I'm going to take just a couple more cards and we're going to finish up. So yeah, so the answer to the situation to do with those initial attacks that you had experienced maybe a year and a half ago is that you're supposed to kind of work your way into some type of meditation and harmonizing things. So even though you've gotten out of it, you still need to reflect and consolidate and find closure for those experiences. I feel like in terms of your the energy to do with the person who came into conflict in your life, the person who breezed through, I feel like you're still on the path of where you're supposed to be going. I just think that you need to really nourish yourself, and you need to nourish your soul. You need to nourish your feelings about yourself. So it's time to really take care of that. And just one more. Okay, so I feel like this is the time in which, so we started off the reading where you found yourself in a new environment in which you didn't necessarily know where you were at. You didn't necessarily have it all figured out, and you went from a place where you had things under control to a place with completely different values. And so I think what ended up happening, it could have been not a place, but like just a lifetime of changes, right? And so what had happened was that you found yourself in a new environment, and it kind of got on top of you. It became more than who you were, but now you are evolving finally, and it might have taken a really long time to get to this point. Because you were so entrenched in the way that you did things before, because they were your successful coping mechanisms. Okay, cool. So they were in some way excuse me, they were in some way your, I'm getting a lot of downloads, that's why. So I think that in some way you were so attached to the way that you did things because they were your preferred coping strategies in other circumstances that were difficult, maybe a few years ago, longer ago in your childhood. And I feel you got so attached to doing things a certain way that now that you were in a new environment, it was quite an adjustment, and you didn't really know what to, because your go-tos, those coping strategies were your go-tos, and now you were being called upon to go through things a different way. And you're very much going through an enlightenment process, and I feel like you're very much going through an enlightenment and raising vibration. And I think that there was a peripheral circumstance that was unfortunate that caused a disruption, and I think that was coordinated. It was planned. It was a mix of seeing opportunity, seeing something that they or he or she or the situation wanted, and seeing also you feeling very lowly about yourself for a long time, and it led into this kind of opportunistic kind of goal setting. But I do think that, and a lot of it was, the attack was on a psychological level, like you don't have a right to stick up for yourself, you don't have a right to this and that. And I think that could for you have been very triggering, because in the past that was maybe part of the problems that you had faced, and now you are sticking up for yourself, and now you're just like, water under the bridge, but it's still triggering you. So be careful with that energy. Be careful with the energy of, confronting it. It wants you to confront it so it can lay on you even more, because it knows your weakness. Your weakness is that you in some way accede to others too quickly. You're not determined, or you're not so self determined. You're a people pleaser, and so I feel like you've had been a people pleaser in the past, and now you are evolving towards a more determined person. But don't challenge it yet. It's like working through Chiron or working on a broken leg. You want not only has your leg set now, you can walk on it, it's fine, but it's still vulnerable. It still needs time to completely heal. So you're in that shadow period of that transition. So you don't want to get drawn in to that. I think somebody went straight for the jugular in terms of your emotional compass, and I think that they mercilessly went straight. You have a history of having unfortunate situations with people, and through that's healing, and you're growing to really find your place again. Unfortunate set of circumstances, that kind of thing, and you're finding peace with all of it, the broken hearts, the unexpected endings, whatever. But I feel like now there was a peripheral situation in which someone sensed an opportunity and they took it, but it was merciless. It's how people attack you sometimes on one level, or they attack you for this or that, but some people try to really attack you for like a more personal thing, and they're really looking for that more personal thing. That's what this was. So it could be actually giving you shivers up your spine, because it's like this person didn't attack you just because you need to lose weight, or your nose is crooked or whatever. This person attacked you really straight for the jugular, the most personal aspects of your psychology, things that you may not even know about yourself, because it's like it's your blind spots, so this person went for the deepest, like viciously attacked. And I think that it was attacked for a personal reason. I think it was greed that was motivating it. And so that's why don't confront it, because if you confront it, that person can do it again, / they may try harder next time. You don't want to tempt that kind of energy. The silver lining on it is, if it didn't kill you, then it made you stronger. You know, you've been made aware of a certain part of yourself. But I think that what you're being called upon now is to nourish and to stand up for yourself, to keep your head high and have your enlightenment process. You know, you don't want to tempt the energy, but once it's happened, you want to be thankful for having the enlightenment and understanding of the situation. So my dears, yeah, just nourish yourself. Don't get into it with it, because it's a low vibration energy, and you are going through an enlightenment. You are going through a transformation. There are people who are coming into your life to bring you up. So really, really nice energy. And I feel like you just crossed paths with some weird people, and in the past you had like a bad set of luck, a bad sequence of luck in bad situations. But I do feel like you're really, you know, do some singing. Do some singing. So I hope you guys liked my podcast, and I'm glad to have shared it with you. I hope you enjoy. This is number 9. I set up a Bandcamp for this. I might get that going. I'll let you know in the description below. Get my app. If you have Android phone, get my app and check out my videos. That's all. And we'll have more soon. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye. Oh, and let me know what you think I should call this video in the comment section. Okay? Thank you. Bye.